Yuan Yuan had an extremely miserable and helpless childhood with no family to rely on, no one to care for her, and no warm shelter to take her in. From the age of 7, she wandered alone on the cold and indifferent streets, struggling to survive by rummaging through trash cans for leftover food and recyclable waste. She endured endless cold stares, harsh words, cold, and all kinds of harsh hardships in the cruel world, never having tasted a single trace of sincere warmth or gentle care from anyone. Her desperate and lonely life took an unexpected turn when Mo Xian, a noble and elegant young master from a wealthy upper-class family, accidentally caught sight of her in a messy and dilapidated alley. Despite the dissuasion and obstruction of his fully armed bodyguards who followed him closely to maintain his safety and dignity, Mo Xian took the initiative to walk forward slowly, bent down gently and spoke to the ragged little girl in a soft and warm tone. Without the slightest hesitation or dislike for her humble origins and messy appearance, he insisted on taking the homeless, nameless little Yuan Yuan back to his luxurious and wealthy Mo mansion. From that day on, Mo Xian became the only lifelong reliance that Yuan Yuan had in the cold world, and also the invisible, inescapable shackles that would bind her fate firmly for the rest of her life. In the eyes of all outsiders and acquaintances, Mo Xian was a perfect and impeccable youth. He was gentle, courteous, modest, well-behaved, excellent in academic performance, outstanding in temperament, and highly praised by everyone around him as an elite role model and an ideal young man. To Yuan Yuan, who had no blood relation with him and was taken home halfway, he was extremely considerate, meticulous, patient, and indulgent without any boundaries. He took good care of all trivial matters in Yuan's growth process, settled all troubles and disasters for her in advance, blocked all wind and rain, malice, and bullying from the outside world, and never said a single harsh word to her or showed a cold face even once. However, no one around could detect that under this years of gentle and thoughtful care and perfect disguise, there was extreme twisted possessiveness, morbid paranoia, dark and hidden evil thoughts that had taken deep root in Mo Xian's heart long ago. These dangerous emotions were quietly hidden under his mild appearance, only waiting for the right time to break out, completely untrap the innocent, undignified Yuan Yuan by his side forever, depriving her of all freedom. The truth about Mo Xian's identity was even more chilling and shocking. He was not the real biological son of the Mo family at all. When he was a child, he was abducted and trafficked by human traffickers, suffering endless torture and despair in the dark and confined trafficking den. The real young master of the Mo family, a weak and sickly child with severe asthma, had died of suffocation and illness in a closed trafficking carriage many years ago. When the police successfully tracked down the den of human traffickers, destroyed the criminal nest, and rescued all the surviving abducted children 5 years later, Mo Xian seized the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He tightly clutched a unique jade pendant that he had snatched from the neck of the dead real young master, pretended to be the lost biological child of the Mo couple, and successfully bluffed and took the identity of the Mo family's young master. His plan to occupy the magpie's nest and seize the identity was only the first step of his grand conspiracy. With a cold-blooded and scheming mind, he endured in silence, lurked patiently in the Mo family for many years, and secretly planned step by step, aiming to completely annex all the huge industries, wealth, power, and status of the entire Mo family. His heart was cold and ruthless by nature, with no warmth or mercy for anyone in the world. The only soft spot and obsessive paranoia in his cold heart belonged exclusively to Yuan Yuan, and he was willing to pay any price to keep her by his side forever. After settling in the luxurious Mo mansion, Yuan Yuan bid farewell to the days of hunger, cold, displacement, and suffering, and lived a stable, well-fed, and worry-free life with ample food, fine clothes, and superior living conditions. Mo Xian took full responsibility for everything related to her growth, shielding her from all negative impacts and worldly troubles. Yuan Yuan was naturally willful, reckless, and unruly. She often caused all kinds of troubles and disasters willfully and recklessly in her daily life. She accidentally smashed the priceless antique vases collected by Master Mo, tased and killed the rare and precious ornamental goldfish carefully raised by Mozian, and even had a fierce conflict with her classmates at school. In a moment of anger and impulse, she picked up a sharp pencil and stabbed it fiercely at the face of the boy who quarreled with her, almost blinding the other party and causing irreversible serious injury. Every time Yuan made a big mistake, Mo Xian would take the initiative to deal with all the follow-up troubles, apologize to the victims and their families with a gentle attitude, calm all public opinions and disputes properly, and never blame Yuan in the slightest. He only comforted her softly, spoiled her unconditionally, and tolerated all her petty tempers and bad habits without complaint. Yuan had been extremely afraid of the dark since she was a child, and she could not sleep alone peacefully in the strange luxurious mansion when she first arrived at the Mo family. After learning about this, Mo Xian immediately arranged for soft cotton cushions to be laid beside her bed every night. He slept on the cold hard ground beside her bed all night long, letting her hold his fingers tightly to gain a sense of security. He whispered gentle words of comfort to drive away all her inner fears and loneliness, accompanying her through every dark and sleepless night. Yuan was simple-minded, innocent and ignorant, and trusted the gentle elder brother who had saved her from suffering with all her heart. She relied on Mo Xian wholeheartedly, regarded him as the only light who had redeemed her from the abyss of misery, and stayed by his side without any guard or suspicion all year round. She never noticed the invisible heavy shackles hidden behind the endless tenderness, nor did she see the dangerous and greedy paranoia hidden in the depths of Mo Xian's eyes. The kind and honest Mo couple treated Yuan sincerely as their own daughter, with no prejudice or neglect because of her humble origins. However, they could never see through the cold-blooded scheming hidden under their adopted son's gentle mask, nor could they predict that their peaceful family life and prosperous wealth had long been firmly controlled by Mo Xian, who was waiting for the best time to harvest everything. His time went by quietly. Yuan grew up safely unhealthily day by day, and her 18th coming-of-age ceremony arrived as scheduled. The whole Mo family went to a private seaside villa for vacation and celebration, enjoying a rare, warm, and happy family moment. No one knew that this warm celebration banquet had become a bloody turning point for Mo Xian to harvest all power and completely expose his true nature. During the family dinner, Mo Xian remained gentle and calm on the surface, secretly adding powerful sleeping drugs to the drinks that the whole family was about to drink. After everyone in the Mo family fell into a deep coma due to the drugs at night, he cruelly poured gasoline all over the luxurious villa, lit the fire mercilessly, and deliberately created a vicious accidental fire accident to kill all the insiders who might threaten his status. Amid the soaring flames, billowing thick smoke, and raging fire that devoured everything, he only protected the unconscious Yuan in his arms tightly, rushing out of the dangerous fire scene regardless of his own safety. He watched coldly as the kind Mo couple who had raised him and treated him well were buried in the sea of fire, completely removing all obstacles and restraints on his way to power. After the fire tragedy, Mo Xian successfully took over all the Mo family's hundreds of millions of assets, core power, and industrial resources without any obstacles, and firmly set in the position of the supreme controller of the entire Mo family forces. Taking advantage of Yuan's extreme grief, mental breakdown, and fragile state after losing her adoptive parents, he accompanied her closely day and night, comforted her gently, enlightened her depressed mood, and pretended to share all her sorrows and pains sincerely. In this process, he quietly deepened Yuan's spiritual dependence on him, cut off all her external social connections, friends, and retreats without leaving a trace, and laid a solid foundation for the long-term confinement and control in the future. Yuan was immersed in the pain of bereavement, unable to extricate herself, and could only rely on Mo Xian numbly. She never suspected that the tragic fire that destroyed her whole family was all carefully planned and arranged by the person she trusted the most. After a long period of psychological adjustment, Yuanyuan gradually walked out of the shadow of the fire tragedy, and her life returned to a calm and peaceful track as usual. She still maintained her previous dependence and trust on Mozian, and their getting along was as warm and harmonious as before until one night, she accidentally saw a shocking scene that completely subverted all her cognition. Mozian, who had always been cold, self-disciplined, gentle and distant in front of others, was alone in the study, tightly holding Yuan's intimate personal clothes in his hands, his face flushed abnormally, his breathing low and hoarse, and his eyes filled with strong, straightforward, possessive lust and morbid desire that could not be hidden. At that moment, Yuan was suddenly awakened with a chill all over her body. She finally thoroughly understood that all the gentle companionship over the years was mixed with dirty thoughts and dark obsessions. Fear, resistance, embarrassment, and alienation surged in her heart instantly. The pure brother-sister affection between them completely deteriorated from then on. From that day on, Yuan began to deliberately alienate Mozian. Avoid all intimate alone time with him, stay out late on purpose, and try every means to keep a safe distance from him, eager to break free from this abnormal and dangerous relationship as soon as possible. Her obvious estrangement and avoidance deeply hurt Mozian's sensitive and paranoid heart, triggering his strong desire for control and unprecedented inner unease. He could not tolerate the person he had guarded and possessed for many years drifting away from him, so he completely abandoned his gentle disguise and began to lay out secretly to force Yuan to submit. He took the initiative to find Yuan, who was drinking and relaxing in a bar late at night, talked with her gently to dispel all her vigilance, and then personally fed her wine mixed with strong sleeping pills. After Yuan lost consciousness and fell into a coma, he took her back to the closed mansion forcefully. In the airtight bedroom, Mozian completely tore off his years of gentle mask, forcibly imprisoned Yuan in his arms without any mercy, and frankly confessed all his dark past and cruel schemes without reservation. He told her the truth about how he impersonated the young master of the Mo family, how he planned the seaside fire cruelly, and how he lurked and calculated step by step for many years to seize power. His every word was cold and heartless, shocking Yuan to the core. At the same time, he bluntly declared his lifelong morbid possessive obsession with her, forcibly broke through all moral boundaries, and completely deprived Yuan of her personal freedom from then on. After the incident, Mozian returned to his usual gentle appearance again, taking meticulous care of Yuan's daily life as before, but he completely tightened the control around her. He dismissed all the servants in the mansion, arranged a large number of black-clothed bodyguards to guard all around the Mo mansion tightly, cut off all her channels of external contact in going out, and turned the luxurious mansion into a gorgeous and airtight cage, where only the two of them lived day and night. The long-term depressed and confined life made Yuan mentally exhausted. Terrified and unbearable, her desire to escape became stronger and stronger day by day. She chose to forbear in silence, pretended to be docile and obedient on the surface, took the initiative to get close to Mozian undacked Kokathasli to please him, quietly dispelling his vigilance and relaxing his strict control. When the time was ripe, she secretly prepared simple luggage and sleeping potions. One night, she quietly mixed the potions into the wine and fed it to Mozian. After Mozian fell into a deep sleep without any defense, she took the luggage and escaped from the heavily guarded Mo mansion quietly in the dead of night, running to a completely strange city far away, determined to hide her whereabouts and regain her long-lost freedom. In order to avoid Mozian's pursuit and investigation, she moved 3 times in different remote communities, applied for 3 new mobile phone numbers repeatedly, cut off all connections with the past, never ordered takeout casually, rarely socialized with others, tried her best to reduce her sense of existence, and thought she could completely escape Mozian's control and live a stable and free life.